My son said I was too old, too slow, and too much of a burden. The words still echo in my mind, sharp and cruel, as if they've been carved into my bones. Jason stood in my living room that evening, his arms folded across his chest, the same chest I had held against mine when he was just a baby, feverish and crying through the night. His voice was cold, void of hesitation. "Mom," he said, not even looking at me, "this is for the best. You'll be comfortable. You'll be taken care of. You can't live alone anymore." I stared at him, my heart racing. I wasn't frail. I wasn't senile. My body had slowed, yes, but my mind was sharp. I could still walk, cook, clean, even tend to the roses I had planted in the garden years ago. But Jason wasn't asking me. He was telling me. By the end of that week, strangers arrived at my house. They packed my clothes into boxes as if I were already gone, already dead. Jason moved in with his wife, Claire, and their son, Mark, and I was shipped off, like unwanted furniture, to a nursing home on the outskirts of town. The moment I stepped through those automatic glass doors, the smell hit me, a mixture of antiseptic, stale food, and something heavier, something like grief. Wheelchairs lined the hallway, blank faces turned toward me, some curious, others hollow. A woman cried softly into her blanket. A man muttered to himself, rocking back and forth. "This will be your room," the nurse said with forced cheer, guiding me into a square box with cream-colored walls and a narrow bed. "Make yourself comfortable, comfortable." The word felt like a joke. My hands trembled, not from weakness, but from fury. Jason thought I'd fade away here, just another forgotten soul waiting for the end. But he didn't know me. He didn't know the storms I had survived before him. That night, I sat on the stiff bed, listening to the groans and coughs of the building. My heart hurt, and not from age, but from betrayal. I had given Jason everything. Every sacrifice I had ever made was for him. And now he had cut me off, stolen my house, silenced my phone calls, and forged papers to make sure I had no say in my own life. But I was not finished. While he believed I'd crumble quietly, I was already planning. Lying in that narrow bed, memories surged back like waves crashing against rocks. I remembered the night Jason was born. The storm outside rattled the windows of the small county hospital. His father, David, held my hand with tears in his eyes. "He's perfect," he whispered when Jason cried for the first time. But David didn't live to see Jason grow. A heart attack stole him when Jason was only 6. Suddenly, I was both mother and father. I worked 2 jobs, day shifts at the diner, nights cleaning offices, just to keep food on the table. I still remember the day I pawned my wedding ring. My hands shook as I slid it across the counter to the jeweler. "It's all I have left," I whispered. But Jason needed medicine, and love alone couldn't pay the bills. He was everything to me. His smile lit up the darkest days. I sat through school plays, football games, graduation ceremonies, all with pride swelling in my chest. Every time I wanted to give up, I looked at him and found a reason to keep going. And now, that same boy I'd carried on my shoulders was the man who shoved me aside like a piece of broken furniture. The thought burned inside me. Days blurred together at the home, breakfast at 7, pills at 8, television droning endlessly in the common room, staff that smiled but never really saw you. I met a few of the other residents. Mrs. Turner, a former school teacher whose son visited once a year. Mr. Blake, who fought in Vietnam, but now couldn't remember his own birthday, and Ruth, a woman with sharp eyes who whispered to me one night, "Don't let them break you, that's what they want." Her words lit a fire inside me. I began to watch, to listen. Jason thought he had silenced me, but he had forgotten one thing. I still had friends. A neighbour, Margaret, visited when she could. She slipped me a piece of paper one afternoon, her eyes darting to make sure no one saw. It was the number of my old lawyer, Mr. Keller. That night, I dialed the phone from the hallway payphone. My hands shook with excitement. When he answered, I nearly cried. "Mrs. Allen, I've been looking for you," he said. "There are some troubling documents your son filed, but if you're willing to fight, we can win this." Fight? I had been fighting my whole life. The weeks that followed were a blur of meetings, signatures, and strategy. Mr. Keller visited the nursing home with folders of evidence, forged signatures, fake medical assessments, false power of attorney papers. Jason had been clever, but not clever enough. When the case finally went to court, I walked in with my back straight and my head high. Jason sat across the room, his jaw tight, eyes flickering with panic when he saw me. He hadn't expected me to make it this far. The judge listened. The truth unraveled like a ball of string. One by one, Jason's lies collapsed. By the end, the verdict was clear. Every fraudulent document was void. His control over my life was revoked. His accounts, where he had funneled my money, were frozen. Justice was swift, but I wasn't finished. I sold the house, the very one he had stolen, and bought a new place, not far away, not hidden, but right next door to Jason's. The first morning on my new porch, I sat in my rocking chair, coffee steaming in my hands. Jason stepped outside his door, pale and furious. Our eyes met. I smiled. Every day after it was the same. He couldn't escape me. My presence was a mirror, reflecting his betrayal, his failure. His marriage began to crumble. Claire left, taking their son with her. His job suffered. His friends disappeared. Meanwhile, my life flourished. I planted roses again, their bright colours painting the garden. Neighbours waved when they passed by. Peace returned to me. And then, one day, Mark, my grandson, knocked on my door. He was tall now, with his father's eyes, but not his heart. "Grandma," he said softly, "Dad lied to me. He told me you didn't want to see me, but I know the truth now. Can I stay?" Tears filled my eyes as I hugged him. Together we rebuilt everything Jason had tried to destroy. Laughter filled my house again, the clink of dishes, the warmth of family dinners, the joy of shared memories. All returned. Jason once called me a burden, but in the end it wasn't my age, my strength, or my presence that weighed him down. It was my survival, my peace, my legacy,